Okay, so you have 2.5 years of experience?
Yeah, correct.
Okay, so first you change your resume. Okay,
Okay.
I think it is very everything you try to fit in one page, but it seems very font is very high. That font size is very 16 or 17, I think. So you should not be using that much. Where is your phone number? Phone number and email ID you added at the bottom. That should be
Yeah.
at top.
Yeah.
Yep. So change those. Then project one, project two, three, project four. What is this?
I actually how many projects I have worked in the same company I mentioned like that.
So you can directly add in the single line with the project itself, roles and responsibilities and task over there itself. Why to add in the left side again?
Okay.
Okay, but update it, make it little bit easier to understand for interviewer. Okay, I think this is very education is not required at the top, correct? 10th, 12th. Is anyone ask you how many percent you have in the 10th in the interview?
No, not actually.
So what is the use of it at the top? You can add at the bottom. Then take use in the projects, that is fine, but this should be organized very well. So I'm thinking that so it is very easy to understand for the interviewer. Okay, so
Okay.
then tools, frameworks, that's fine. Web development is fine. And experience you added about only project. But what about you? What are the roles and responsibilities you are working? What is the profile summary of you? Where is that? Those things are not there. So I think you should update your resume first.
Okay, sir.
Okay, so let me start with the Angular questions. So we'll go one by one, Angular and JavaScript little bit. Okay, is
Okay.
it fine?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, so what are the new features in Angular 17?
Okay, so Angular 17 introduced make mainly 3 to 4 new features what I remember. One
Mhm.
is that standalone component, and second is the way we are actually handling the can activate and simply the auth routing how we are handling. So they now given auth functions instead of implementing those interface, and then the way we are importing our interceptors. So these are the mainly new features they have introduced.
Okay. Any other, do you remember?
Come again. Sorry.
Any other, do you remember?
Not actually.
So you might heard about the defer loading.
For loading. No, I don't think so.
Okay. Any idea about new control flows in the template?
Yeah, new control. So they have also added such as for a structural directive they have added add the add symbol and add the rate
So this is the part of
symbol.
17, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Then they did support for the SSR as well, server side rendering.
Yeah, server side rendering also they are supporting in 17.
Okay, so go through these things, okay, one by one. Okay,
Mm.
because now if you are adding Angular 17 in your resume, then interviewer will ask some of the questions based on that as well. Okay, so
Okay.
I think you should prepare those as well. Okay, we'll move to the next question then. So what are the types of pipes we have in Angular?
Actually, in Angular, we are having the two types of pipes. One is the pure pipes, and the second one is the impure pipes.
Hmm.
So basically, what the pipes do, it basically transform the view during the when in template when we are try to render anything. So it transform the input view. So what the pure pipe means, it actually depend on the how the input are going to be changed. If input change is pure change in the sense we can say, suppose if we are having that. primitive data type that just like string, number system, booleans. So once their value is going to change from previous value, the next value is different, then that it will be treated as pure change. And in the sense of reference variable that is user defined such as array and object. So once the reference is going to change of one particular variable, at that time the change is trigger considered as the pure change. So at that time, whatever the pipe is going to call, that will be the pure pipe. And all the pipes in Angular are actually by default pure. And in pure pipes will trigger for every life direction cycles.
Mm.
So for making any pure pipe to impure pipe, we are having that object, okay, by which we are passing in at the rate pipe decorator. So there we can set the pure to false. So it will consider as the impure pipe and it will call for every change detection cycle.
Okay. So prepare an example as well for it. Okay. So if someone asks you to create a pipe with a pure and impure, so you should be
Hmm.
able to create it, correct?
Yeah, correct.
Okay. In the interview. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So can we use a multiple router outlet in Angular?
No, we can't use the multiple router outlets because it will give the ambiguity. See, the router outlets tell whatever we simply once we are using the route, it will give you the control flow that we are defining the path and which components should be rendered for that path. Okay, so the router outlets define that particular component at that place. So we, if we are putting the multiple router outlets, it will give ambiguity that where to put that particular component which we are going to render dynamically.
So your answer is wrong. Okay. We should be able to create a multiple router outlet. Okay. When you create a route, okay, over there we give your path and component, correct?
Yeah, correct.
With it, you can give the outlet as well. And that outlet you will register in router outlet. So when the component trigger this path, then it will check for which router outlet I have to show this path. Okay, we can do it.
Okay.
So try it. How can we do it once? Okay, note down this
Okay.
question. Okay, so you might heard about the navigation and navigate URL, correct? Navigate and
Yeah,
navigate URL. So what
yeah,
is the use of
navigate.
both?
So simply the navigate and the navigate by URL are the static URLs, and once the navigate URL will accept the segment of the URL, any URL, and that navigate will accept the segment of the URL, and navigate by URL will accept that whole path. So once
Mhm.
we are trying, actually the navigate by URL, we can't use the relative path in there. So once we are trying to navigate relatively, so at that time only we have option navigate. So in navigate only we can use that relative path for navigating from one component to other component.
So what is the difference between relative path and absolute path?
So a relative path actually what it will do, it will bind that particular path to the current active path, and the absolute path bind the current path uh, to the base URL. You can say just like localhost 2024 is our base URL. So
Hmm.
the absolute path, whatever the path we are giving, it will omit the current active path and bind with that path. Okay. And in relative path, it will bind with the current active path.
Okay.
This is the major difference.
Okay. We'll move to the next question. So you might heard about the view children's and view child. Any idea
Yeah,
what the
correct.
difference between both?
Yeah, yeah. So view child actually see, once we want to have any reference of any particular variables, any particular inputs or components, at that time we use the view child, and view child will give the only first occurrence of that reference, and other than view children will give the all the occurrence of that particular reference. So that means it will return a array of that reference. And these two things we always use after ng view unit, because after ng view unit only the view is going to initialize, and we will get the reference of this view child and view reference, whatever we are declaring the variable. Before that view is not going to initialize, and we will get the undefined value if we are trying to access those.
Okay.
So
So,
this is the
mhm. So if I want to access this view child and view children, in which life cycle hook I will use it?
uh, yeah, ng after view unit, because before this life cycle hooks is getting called, before this only these reference are going to be assigned.
Okay.
Hmm. Before that they will come as undefined, because the view will not going to initialize, correct,
Mhm.
before this call. So before this call, if we are trying to access in ng on init, it will
Mm.
come as undefined.
Undefined. Okay.
Hmm.
Okay. So what is different between promise and observable? Any idea?
Yeah, sure. Actually, see, yeah, promise is the native to JavaScript, correct? But observable is basically given in Angular. So what we can say, promise is actually like, see, once we are fetching any data, okay, so promise, what it will do, it will either return that data, okay, after some time when that promise got resolved, or it will reject, it will give the error. But what that observable do, observable do the streaming of data. See, it will not give all the data at a time. It will give the chunk of data which are coming from that emitter from producer, and it will give chunk by chunk the data. So it will either resolve, and in between if we are getting any error, it will also transmit the error, and after completion of whole stream, it will also give a signal that whole stream is getting completed. So basically in promise, it is native, and observable is given by the Angular RxJS, and it will give one-time data, that promise, and the observable emit the stream of data at a time.
Okay. Suppose I have an array. Okay. I want
Mm.
to make it as an observable. So what I can
Mm.
do?
So for arrays, there are two options. If we want to make it observable, we can use the for operator or from operator, off operator or from operator. So in off operator, what it will do, it will give you whole array as one stream. Okay, but from operator, it will give the each element of array as a stream of data.
Okay.
This is the way we can.
Hmm.
So
So
we can pass in for operator as a parameter of this array, or from operator as a parameter of this array, and it will stream, one will stream the whole data as a one stream, and from will stream one by one element as a stream of data.
okay. So have you worked on the Angular material as well?
No, actually we are using the bootstrap in all the four projects.
Okay. You added Angular hyphen bootstrap. Is it a bootstrap or only your Angular bootstrap?
It's a bootstrap, pure bootstrap.
Okay. So you have to change it. Okay.
Okay.
You added Angular hyphen bootstrap. So that's why I'm asking. And bootstrap 5 you should be adding, correct? Only not a
Yeah.
bootstrap.
Okay.
Okay. We'll move to the next question. So that's fine. You're not aware about the material. So that's fine. So in Angular application, you might have been seen tsconfig JSON file. So any idea what is the use of that file?
Okay. At the root level, we are having the
Mhm.
config.ts file. Okay, so what we will do there, we will define how our project is going to compile. Okay, so basically, if we want a strict type of checking, or we want to emit anything during that checking, suppose once we see this error multiple times. Suppose we are creating any form, okay, ng form, and we are not assigning immediately. Okay, so at that time we used to get a error. So there is a property in that ts.config file, that ts.config file tell how your project should compile. At that compile time itself, it will give error that you need to make it, you need to assign that particular form. So there we can change, and there are more other property in that file which will define how our project is going to compile. So the main work of this config.ts file to tell the Angular that how we are going to compile our project.
Okay. Okay. So you might have been seen the angular.json file as well. Angular.json.
Yeah, yeah.
So when we do ng build or ng serve, what exactly
Mhm.
happens?
See, in Angular.json file, we are having one script. Okay, so script object, inside a script object, we are defining how our project should start. So once we are giving ng serve or ng build, what it will do, it will take that command. Okay, after that, it will compile that our project using the partial IVY compiler, which the Angular is using, and it will give a bundle. Okay, and it will what it will actually do, it will transform our ts file into main.js file, and other some vendor file it will create, and it will create style.js file also. All the css style will convert it to the js style, and it will put those script inside our main.ts file. So this is the way how the compilation and building of project works.
Okay. So when you do ng serve, okay,
Mhm.
how
Mhm.
the application will know that I have to run these steps now? Correct. You do ng build as well. Okay. When you
Yeah, yeah.
do ng build,
Mhm.
why that CLI? How that CLI knows that what I have to do now?
Okay, so inside Angular.json, we are having multiple objects there. Okay, so there we are defining what will be the build path, and what will be the build command, what will be the initial entry build entry build project. So using that project, they are going to know that for which project I am going to run this command.
Okay.
We have build configuration, correct? Build configuration, test configuration. So from there, it will take and it will run the command.
Okay. Okay. So now we'll talk about the environment specific build. Suppose I want to generate a development build. So
Mm.
how can I do this?
So there is an option we can use hyphen prod or hyphen dev to generate both the type of build, and we can set this by default inside our script itself when we are building it. So there we can give that specific build type, or during a build itself in command prompt we can give this command.
Okay. But you will have different environment configurations, correct? So
Yeah, correct.
how that will work? For suppose
Okay.
for staging, I want
Okay.
to pass some www.staging.com,
Mm.
for dev
Mm.
www.dev.com. So
Mm.
how this will work?
Okay, so in every project we are having one environment file. Okay, there we are having the production file and the normal the development file. Okay,
Mhm.
so from there what we are using, what we are doing, we are registering the type once the project is going to build. So inside that angular.json file, there will be one more object where we can assign during prod or during development which type of environment you should take. So that environment will be taken from that particular environment file, and we can then Angular will decide which environment I need to take from those files according as we given those things inside that particular object. So from there it will decide.
Which, what object?
Actually, object name I don't remember.
So there is environments object in angular.json. Okay. So
Mm-hmm.
inside that you have to give this different environments path. Okay. And you have to
Yeah, correct.
replace your existing environment.ts file with whatever configuration you are setting. Okay.
Yeah, correct.
So at the time of build, it will generate only single environment.ts file, and whatever content you are written in the stage or UAT or dev anywhere, it will get replaced with that. Okay.
In serve, there will be some serve object. In there will be configuration. I think, as much I remember, serve
We're
then
talking
config.
about build, not about serve.
Okay, okay. So
Correct.
in build object, we can do the same.
Yeah, the same way at the level of the serve, you will have build as well in the architect of.
Hmm.
Okay, so there we do this. Okay, so can we call a one of a service without adding in the constructor?
Yeah, we can use the inject method actually. The same way we are defining. Suppose we want auth service. We don't want to use the constructor. So simply we can define a private variable. Suppose auth service, private auth service equal to, we can call the inject method, and we can insert that particular name of that service, auth service, using inject method.
Okay. Okay, so have you heard about interceptor?
Yeah, interceptor are
Suppose,
there.
yeah, suppose I want to add some, suppose I got some token from somewhere and I wanted to add
Hmm.
it. So
Hmm.
what exactly I have to do?
Okay, see, for adding the token inside interceptor, first we need to access the current header, which is coming from the request, because at initial time when we are creating the request, we used to add some initial headers. And if you are not adding, the simply the Angular will do, the browser will do that. So in intercept, when we are implementing the intercept method of intercept interface, so at that time we need to first clone that request dot header object. After cloning, we are having two things. We can use the set attribute method for setting the multiple headers, such as auth, user email ID, which is logged in user, or we can use the set method to set that this auth and logged in user header.
Okay,
And
so
then we can pass the this particular header into next method, so it will hit that API calls.
okay, so it will add for each API, correct?
Yeah, each API.
Okay, so now coming to, suppose we have multiple routes. Okay, we are getting
Hmm.
some data from the backend.
Hmm.
Okay, so it will go through the login page as well, correct? It will go
Yeah.
for login API as well,
So for
correct?
doing that, what we can do, from request object, we will get the URL itself. Okay. So we can check the index of that URL. Particularly, we can have one file, one TS file where we can list the URL. And if that URL is having that particular index, so we can omit this using by checking the if condition having that URL, because in request
Okay,
we will
so
get the URL
okay,
also.
let me tell you one thing. Okay, so while sending the request from the service to interceptor, you
Hmm.
can add one of variable over there to skip header. Okay, something, if you add one more parameter, skip header equal to true,
Hmm.
that header you will get in the interceptor, correct? Skip header
Yeah.
or anything
Hmm.
variable you can create, you can add any header, correct?
Yeah, yeah, correct.
If it is there, then you will skip that, you will directly go through the login API. Okay, if it is not there, then you should be getting the token and passing that token, like that.
Okay, 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 got it.
Yeah, so this way we can do it. Okay, so okay, so what is commonly RHS operator do you use in Angular?
Maximum we are using 4 to 5 only. That one off I told, and from, and map, filter, and one more thing, we switch map one time we have used to
what is
switch
the
between.
what is the use of switch map?
Okay, so switch map, what how we have to what is the condition? Suppose we are I will explain the switch map what it will do. Actually, it will switch from one stream to other stream. Suppose you are calling one stream from getting the data from one stream, then you want to do something on the second stream, which is depend on the first stream data. So in that case, we are using the switch map. So what we are doing, we are having one rule page. Okay, from that rule page, there will be around 1,000 of the rule. So whatever the rule we are getting for a particular rule, we need to render all the how the rule is basically composed, how the rule is working, we need to show on the other page. So in that case, directly what we are doing, we are taking that particular ID from one stream. After getting that particular ID from one stream, from one API, directly we are switching using the switch map to switch the other string, and we are fetching all the composed data of that particular rule to show on a UI.
Okay. So instead of writing to subscribe, we go switch
only
mode.
with
Yeah.
one
So
subscribe.
yeah. So
First, it will
use
automatically unsubscribe after getting the first
yes.
ID of that particular rule.
Yes. Yes. So you should talk like that. Okay. That's fine. That is correct. Okay. So we'll move to the next question. So there is a take operator in React. Sorry, in RJS. So any idea why we use take operator?
Pick operator. No, actually, I didn't use. I used
Okay.
this and type operator I have used
Tab
to.
operator you used.
Type operator I have used.
Why we use the tab?
See, the type operator used to do them some side works. Side work in the sense, just like if condition, if we are using for if, in that we are doing some side work. The same way, if we are want to do some side work, some filtering or other thing, other way we want to modify the data, or other way we want to suppose we are getting one list. Okay, in that list ID is missing, and we in the UI side we want to add one particular ID, and then we want to send the data to the component so that it can render. So the type operator, what it will do, it will just take that particular stream of API, and it will not do anything, just it will type, and then we can do the side work in that type method. We can add any uh, extra value to that API response data or anything.
Okay. So have you used a share replay?
Say a replay. No,
Hmm.
no, no.
Retry.
Which one?
Retry.
Yeah, retry. I haven't used, but I know the concept of retry. Suppose we are calling one stream, okay, and that stream in between given the error, so we will use the catch error method to get the that error. After some time, user can again come and log in, and he want then we can use the retry method to again fetch that same stream after some time, after getting that catch error. After catching the error, we use the retry to get it again, the same stream of data we want to fetch it again.
Suppose I have an observable. Okay.
Okay.
Suppose I have subject. Okay.
Come again, please. Sorry.
Suppose I have one subject or behavioral subject. Okay.
Okay.
I want to unsubscribe it. How can I do
Mhm.
this?
Okay, basically, if you want to unsubscribe it, we can use the ng on destroy method.
Hmm.
Okay, and there, see each observable is return this object of this subject observable or variable subject observable, return one observable that will have one unsubscribe method. Okay, so we can store, we can call this observable. Okay, after executing our task, we can store that particular observable inside any variable, and using that variable we can call the unsubscribe method into
Wait,
ng
wait,
on
wait. Can
destroy.
but subject? Can we use unsubscribe with subject?
Unsubscribe with
Subject.
subject.
Subject or behavioral subject.
Yeah, we can use.
Are you sure?
Create one observable only. Yeah, we can use,
Okay. Okay.
because it will return the observable correct after executing that particular thing. So that that particular observable will have that one unsubscribe method.
So if I want to do automatic unsubscribe, then what should I use?
For automatic unsubscribe, okay, you don't want to use ng on destroy method, correct?
Hmm.
Okay, so actually what we can do, we can use the async pipe. Okay, and we can directly pass that. Suppose I want to render one list. Okay, I am using one observable to get that particular list after modifying something. Okay, so that particular observable itself we can store into one variable and pass that observable, and we can use the async pipe in HTML in our template view itself. So it will directly unsubscribe after getting that list. Async pipe we can use.
Okay. But what is the disadvantage of a sync pipe?
See, for suppose your UI getting render, okay, for some time UI got render on the screen, even though that API call is taking too much time. Okay, so your component will be like empty only. It will not show anything. So that is not very user friendly to use the async pipe.
Okay. So this is pure pipe or impure pipe?
Async is a pure pipe actually.
Okay. Okay. So you have you do you know about pipe operator? We do have pipe operator, correct? In interpolation, we do use.
Yeah, correct.
So any idea what are those? Anyone you used in your code?
Yeah, we use that currency formatter, date pipe, currency pipe, and async pipe we are using a few times, and other thing were with the percentage. If we want to use, then we can use the percentage pipe like that there.
Okay. So can we create our custom as well?
Yeah, we can create a custom pipe. Just we need to decorate our class. We can create one class and we can decorate our class with add the pipe, and there we need to give in decorator we are passing one object. So there we need to give the pipe name. There will be one name object, name key. So there we can give the pipe name, and then we can write our logic inside that pipe.
Okay. So you use only subject and behavioral subject, or you use this one as well? Replace subject.
Replace replace subject. We didn't use, but I know the replace subject. What
You have
actually the replace subject do? It used to store that how to say?
buffer values. If you
Yeah, buffer value. Yeah,
yeah, so if you
between.
yeah, if you add a buffer value of 5, then it will hold
Hmm,
previous 5 values. Okay. As soon
yeah,
as you
yeah,
add it sixth one, first one will get lost. Okay.
yeah. Correct.
This way it will hold. Okay.
Hmm.
So have you written any test cases?
No, actually, we are not using the test cases. We are not writing the test cases
Any
for
idea
any.
about that? Means what exactly we do write in the test case? Why we write a test case, first of all?
Yeah. We can. I can say this. Can I give you the reference of other technology .NET? How we are doing in .NET?
Hmm?
Can I give
That is
the reference?
see, that is for API, correct? .NET
Okay.
API.
So actually, why we used to write the unit test is, see, we want to test each of the functionality with our assertion data. Assertion data in the sense, we will get the exact data what that API need as a input. Okay, what that component need as a input, and what it will produce as a output. Each method. Okay, so in that way, we prepare our test data at a request time and the response time, and we used to give those test data. And in this test condition, if you are writing any test condition and using writing the method for test method for particular method at that time, it should never hit that particular component. If it is not hitting that particular component, then only we can say that our test, whatever we have written, our test for any function or uh, any function. So if it is not hitting the test, then we are giving the correct test during request and response. This is what we used to do.
Okay. Have you used a fork join?
Fork join, no.
Any idea about it?
Fork join, yeah, I think RxJS operator, correct?
Yes.
No.
Suppose you have 5 API. Okay.
Hmm.
You want to get the data of 5 all APIs.
Hmm.
Okay, in one of the variable, one of the object. Suppose.
Hmm.
Okay, that object will have object one, object two, object three, object four, object five. Five responses of the 5 APIs. Correct.
Hmm. Hmm.
I want to get it all in single API, single value means parent
Okay.
object.
Hmm.
So in that situation, we do use fork join. So I will create a array of our services APIs. It will give me a data one by one response. Then I will club them into single variable. This is one of the use case, but there might be other cases as well. But this is the one way. But read about it, okay? So
Okay,
mostly,
sure.
sometime it get asked, okay?
Okay.
Okay, so have you used content projection in Angular?
Yeah, content projection we are using, but we are using very shortly. But I will explain you what is the context. So actually content projection comes into play once we want to display some HTML content between our component selector. Suppose I am having one component selector that for that component. Suppose I am having one parent, okay, and one child. So in that child from parent, I want to show some content, HTML content, okay. So in that child app selector component in between them, I will use the HTML content, okay, the HTML content to project it. So from there, from parent, I can project some content between that selector of child. So after projecting that content, we need to also handle it inside our child. So there we use the content ng content ng content template given by the Angular, where we want to project that content inside a child component. There we use that particular ng content template to render the content which is coming from the parent to child. So this is the basically content projection from parent to child
Mm-hmm.
in that child app selector.
Okay. So, okay, I will just ask a couple of questions about latest feature of Angular. So, if you are okay, then that's fine. So, as you told, you are not aware about the differ loading much, correct?
Yeah, yeah,
So, they have introduced a differ loading the way we are lazily loading our components now, correct? With the
yeah, correct.
standalone, okay.
Mm.
Then earlier we do load a lazy loading for our modules, okay,
Yeah, we are doing
to
load.
improve performance. Now they comes to standalone, okay.
Mm.
Okay, so now they comes to one more step ahead. Okay, so now we will defer loading. We will lazily load our HTML. Okay,
Mm.
so they have given many packages. I'm not remembering exactly the name of all. So there is one ideal. There is a just a minute. I'm checking those. I have written somewhere that defer loading. This is the block. Okay, I got it. So let me share my screen so you can see it properly. If you see my screen,
Yeah, yeah,
okay, if you see here, these are the defer blocks. Okay, this is placeholder. So placeholder is nothing but, so what will happen? So the large component, suppose you are loading large component, okay,
mm.
and you meanwhile that loading that component is taking 5 seconds, okay.
Yeah,
We have written 5 minimum second here. So have you seen that that loading comes
yeah, correct.
you
Loading
open
loader.
LinkedIn, you open that
Uh,
placeholder comes like that. So in
yeah.
that way we use placeholder. We can create your own placeholder and we can
Mm.
show it. So as much of if we are taking more time to get the data and sitting here, so we can use this, okay. This is
Okay.
the one. Then another one is loading. So you can show the loading as well while reading the data from the service and API. Okay.
Okay.
There is another one is viewport. So now this is our active viewport, which we are seeing in the DOM. Okay.
Yeah, correct.
As soon as I scroll down, it will be viewport. So if it is in viewport, then only these chunks will load into the DOM. Okay. So now they are lazily loading our HTML as well. Okay.
Okay, got
If you
it.
get some error in this, you will get the error like this. If you are not able to, suppose that calendar is expecting one of the input
Mm.
variable, but you are not passing it. In that way, you will get this error. Okay. There is a trigger as well. So if you want to trigger something based upon some condition, so
Okay.
these are the ways we can do it. Okay. So this is the one thing, and about the signal as well. So they have introduced signal as well now. So please go through it. Okay.
Yeah, Signal I have used, but actually I forgot to tell this.
Yeah.
Signal we are
So
using heavily actually
yes.
in
So
our
that's what
project.
I was been asking you. So you are working on 16 or 17.
17 we are working, but actually we are not using this much of the things. Only main things we are using.
Hmm. But focus on this as well, na? Because you are writing
Okay.
the signal, so you should writing these things as well. Okay, it will help
Okay.
you later. But you are looking for a job, so at least if you have writing this code, you will understand the code as well. What is the problem when you are writing this code? So it will be easy to tell in the interview as well for you later.
Yeah. Yeah. Correct.
So those things will help you. Okay, I think we have covered multiple questions today in about Angular itself. So I wanted to take only Angular interview for you because your experience is low. So I thought that I will check first Angular for you.
Okay.
So that's fine. I think you are good in Angular. Okay. So I don't feel that you are lacking in any question or anywhere. So whatever you don't know, you directly tell me. I don't know this. So that is good thing. Some people do just answer the things what they know or something. They confuse the interviewer as well. So
Hmm.
that one thing I liked in you. So you directly tell I don't know. I have not used. That's it. So at least interviewer can ask another question, so instead of
Yeah.
wasting the
Correct.
time. So that is good thing. And about your answers as well, your answers are very point to point, so that is also very good. So some people gives answer by one by one, the same thing they rotates. So that
Hmm.
is kind of one thing I observe many times. So but in this interview I find that you are very point to point, so that is very good. So keep it up, and read the question as much as you can read. Okay, and go through as much of coding question you can solve in React,
Hmm.
sorry, in a JavaScript or Angular. Okay, and
Okay.
yes, that's it. Anything from your side for me?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We are having a little bit 4 to 5 minutes, so I wanted to ask actually how we are developing. If I will tell you the scenario, then you will get to know why in the point and the point what I am telling. Actually, we are using that Angular 17. Okay, but basically, see, every organization has their own way of developing that. Writing the code, they have one documentation, and there they have mentioned that this approach and this flow we need to take correct. So even though we are using the Angular 17, we are not using much. They are not given us permission to write a declarative code using ngrx operator. Multiple time I have written that type of codes and went for review. In that review, that was directly rejected because very less people will aware of these latest changes. So they are asking us to go in imperative way itself. So
Hmm.
actually that's why I was not able to give the answer for multiple of operators. So basic operators what we need for that we are accepting those things. And one more thing regarding that way of approaching that this config file and this angular.json file. Actually we don't remember everything. I don't remember. I am very weak in remembering. So what we are using, that I am okay with that. But I used to do the Google things. We can't remember each and everything, correct?
Correct,
So we
correct.
can go through the documentation of Angular and we can see and we can do. So actually I have built whole this micro front end by my own. So at that time we do everything whatever you ask in how we assign the environment, how we read the environment, everything. But that was not remember actually.
Hmm.
So that is the issue. Actually, I don't remember much of the things because we are having the documentation and I used to go through the documentation a lot. So basic concept and the high level of concept, high level of designing the components, how the component structure should be, and how the passing of data will flow. So those things I used to design and then I used to go.
That's fine. Every company will not give everything, so you should be reading in your time. So
Yeah,
that's good. Okay.
nothing from myself.
Yes. Anything else?
No, no, no.
Okay. So if you want to discuss anything, you can ping me on Instagram.
Hmm.
You can get the Instagram link from the our videos as well. Okay. And okay, that's it. And you will get a testimonial after this interview. Please fill that as well from the topic
Okay,
itself.
okay, sure.
Okay.
Sure.
Okay then.